Drabby came in and said you got some good skinny on Bruce right now.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting thing to watch out for. I'm told that Dan is furious.
Really?
With what?
Yeah, with Bruce. And he is up to where, and he is very, very, very frustrated with the leadership of the organization. Embarrassments, PR-wise, of course, not winning enough to justify anything on the field. The McLuhan situation, bypassing better coaches, i.e. Wade Phillips, that type of thing. It's been a cumulative thing. Even the Kirk Cousins thing, I think I've mentioned this with you guys a couple of times. Dan, maybe this hasn't been that public, but Dan was after an initial kind of like, let's wait and see. Dan was very much in favor of getting a long-term deal done with Kirk Cousins and grew increasingly frustrated with all of these episodes, all of this drama, all of the bad PR, all of the fan backlash, all of the media backlash. And make no mistake about it, media backlash does count in that building. I'm told that Dan, he's not going to make a move today or anytime like right now, but if another major episode happens or if they do not win this year, the full expectation among a couple of people, including, a couple of high-end people, is that they will reassign Bruce into the stadium development department to lead that and take him out of football with Eric Schaffer fully taking over.
Well, here's my question. If Dan really wanted to get a long-term deal done, why didn't he just do it?
Well,
why didn't he just negotiate with him?
Right, and that's the problem, with that, because I think the frustration was, why didn't we do this earlier? Number one, why didn't we figure out a way to get it done at a more manageable number when the numbers, of course, became unmanageable, which I think all of us would agree that they were unmanageable, even as far as not this offseason, just last offseason. Then he started to kind of, I don't want to say waver, but understand that a long-term deal was going to be very problematic. Now, listen, I would say this. You're right. Jason, he could have gotten a deal, but from what I understand, Dan was a little hesitant to make that long-term commitment at first, which is why they went the franchise tag and the $20 million, and then started, I would say, right around March, April, from what I was told, you need to go out and get a top personnel guy. Now, Bruce Allen's answer to that was, well, let's get Scott McLuhan and let's not keep A.J. Smith, who was in-house and who was a former Charger general manager, so on and so forth. Let's not promote Eric Schaffer. Let's go outside of the order. And then that quickly turned into a disaster. It was a disaster long before people understood it was a disaster. Dan, from what I understand, wanted to get rid of Scott a lot earlier than ultimately Bruce did.
So what is saving Bruce at this point? Is it simply his fiscal responsibility? Because they don't go crazy in the offseason anymore,
right.
Much to my chagrin. I like winning the offseason.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, why does Dan like him so much?
Yeah.
Well, because Bruce has made Dan a lot of money. Period. And if you think about it, when Bruce inherited the franchise late 2009, it was, of course, a clown show with Vinny running it and whatever Dan was doing. They went from $1.55 billion of franchise value. They're over $3.1 billion right now with 2 division titles, no playoff wins, no new stadium.
Yeah, but why does he get Bruce credit for that?
Because Bruce has spearheaded a lot of things from a business perspective, one being the cap, one being not giving ridiculous contracts, but stadium renovation and improvement, Richmond, the indoor bubble, the new facility, but the remodeled facility and the deal with the state of, or the Commonwealth of Virginia, working on the stadium. Here's what I would say is Eric Schaffer is very involved in a lot of that stuff too, but from behind the scenes, Eric Schaffer, guys, and I saw this. I would talk to Eric all the time when I was in the building. Eric was a business guy and a salary cap guy and a money guy. He has steadfastly based on what I've seen personally with my own eyes, and then also talking to other people, grown in terms of the football operation element of it. People in that building feel very, very comfortable with Eric Schaffer as a football guy more than a business guy, or just as a business guy. So Dan, from what I understand, has valued Eric Schaffer so much that he's now starting to think, wait a second, if I've got this guy that I trust implicitly so much, and this guy who's so smart, and this guy who I feel comfortable with as a football guy, and who I believe in more, why would I let this guy leave for another organization? Because the NFL, from what I'm told, has interest in bringing him aboard. Other teams certainly have interest in bringing Eric Schaffer aboard. Why would I let him walk out the door when I can do this?